Jon Jones says he wants to be on there too, and he says he would fight whoever the champion is at that time. But would you be okay with him coming back and potentially winning that belt again? And you might have to go through.
Well, it's not even about him winning the belt. I felt about him. I can't risk putting him in big positions in a big spot and have something go wrong. Yeah, especially the White House card.
Training partner has just got to the UFC, so like he's potentially like 2 or 3 wins away from like a title shot. I would be like, I'll vacate it and he can have his time.
You know what I think about that before you even ask me. I hate that.
Tom didn't want to continue in the fight.
Tom didn't want to continue in the fight. I mean, could you imagine if you're Tom Aspinall listening to that?
The MMA world is buzzing after reports surfaced that Dana White has finally snapped following Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall's recent comments about the UFC. For years, fans have accused Dana of favoritism, always standing by Jon Jones through failed drug tests, arrests, and endless controversies. But now it seems the tide has turned. Dana has publicly expressed doubt about Jones, saying he no longer trusts him enough to headline what could be the biggest event in UFC history, the rumored White House card. An American legend on American soil, yet Dana's decision suggests that even for Jon Jones, loyalty has its limits.
Well, it's not even about him winning the belt. I mean, I felt about him. I can't risk putting him in big positions in a big spot and have something go wrong.
Fair enough.
Yeah, especially the White House card.
There's a lot of rumors out there. Let's just spell a couple of them. First and foremost, are you retired?
I am not retired. I'm actively training 5 days a week, and I'm in the UFC's drug testing pool.
Great. And what's the status of the fight at the White House?
I don't really know. It's kind of out of my control right now. I'm training for the event. I'll be ready for the event. That's my goal. That's my intention. But ultimately, it's up to the boss.
Something doesn't quite add up. According to Jon Jones, this entire situation stems from information Dana White never wanted made public. Jones claimed that months ago, he had already told Dana he had no plans to face Tom Aspinall and intended to vacate his titles, but the UFC chose to stay silent.
Firstly, what do you think about that?
Oh, my friend and training partner has just got to the UFC, so like he's potentially like 2 or 3 wins away from like a title shot. So the thing is, if I'd never won a title, I'd never touched gold before, we would have to fight. And now I've done it, I would be like, I'll vacate it and he can have his time.
You know what I think about that before you even ask me. I hate that. Many friends, relatives, name it, have all fought each other before. It doesn't determine whether you are friends with somebody or you hate somebody. You're competing against them to see who the best is, but that's his decision. To even think about vacating it because you don't want to compete against somebody is absolutely insane. But he's a grown man. That's up to him.
Because again, it was such a good fight. It was such an entertaining fight, and you see now people saying all this kinds of, craziness, all kinds of craziness regarding Tom wanting out, Tom getting beat up, Tom, being a coward, being heartless, gutless, and just forgetting about everything this guy's done. By the way, this guy took a fight on 10 days notice, 14 days notice against Sergey Pavlovich, saved your ass at Madison Square Garden. Literally saved the card. And now we know what this is all about. His dad talks about wanting to take a fight, fight out the contract, 3 left, let's go to boxing. And he says in an interview, Tom does, I wouldn't fight Ante Delia. I'd rather vacate. That's my friend. That's my teammate. Oh my God. Literally the two things that would piss Dana White off more than anything. And so most predictable thing is that he would show up at the press conference, not backing his guy at all. Not backing his guy at all. I mean, you had to know that this was going to happen. Forget the fact that he took the fight against Pavlovich on 10 days notice. Forget the fact that he was the backup fighter against, when John fought Stipe last November. Forget the fact that he, was ready and willing to fight Jon Jones at any moment this year. That he was a good soldier, that he never threw the UFC under the bus, that he never complained openly, that he was just doing all the right things, saying all the right things. Forget all of that. Oh no, he won't fight his teammate. And his dad says in a sort of off-the-cuff comment, I don't even know if that was an interview or not, he says, yeah, I want him to fight out the contract and then go to boxing. Ah, the horror. The audacity. The chutzpah. And so, like I said, the UFC is going to be able to rebook this fight. It's going to be huge.
It was one of the most humble and respectful things a fighter could ever say. And Dana White hated it. In a recent interview, Dana bluntly stated, "I hate that idea. No praise, no acknowledgement, not even a nod to Tom Aspinall as the reigning heavyweight champion of the world." The tension only grew at the UFC 321 post-fight press conference, where Dana's attitude toward Tom reached another level. When asked about Aspinall's brutal eye poke injury, Dana brushed it off completely, instead choosing to praise Cyril Gane's performance, saying Gane looked incredible and bloodied up Aspinall. There was no mention of the double eye poke, no concern about the hospital visit, or the fact that Tom could barely see for days afterward. Even Tom's father, Andy Aspinall, confirmed that his son's eye was still gray and healing slowly.
I mean, I just feel like anybody would understand at this point. Like, you know, I'll retire the heavyweight belt if I have to. It's like, dude, give the guy what he wants at the end of the day, you know? And I'm not talking to Dana directly. I feel like I'm at a place now where, you know, like I want to take what I find to be super fights. I don't want to fight dangerous up-and-comers anymore. I want to fight dangerous, established champions. So Tom can have the heavyweight championship. I don't really care about it. That my body doesn't lie in belts anymore. I've created something much bigger.
But there is this thing that's always followed your career where, like, even before you got in the UFC, you couldn't seem to get fights, right? People didn't want to fight you. And then now, even as champion, you have Jon Jones and Alex trying to fight each other but not fight you. Did you ever think there'd be a moment where you could be in this position and still have guys trying to sort of circumnavigate you and fight other people?
No, there's still guys who want it, maybe just not the bigger names. You know, those guys have done enough to do whatever they want. So I'm the champion, fight the number one contender. That's how, in my opinion, that's how champions are supposed to work. It's like, you're the guy, you fight the next guy, prove you're the best, and you rinse and repeat that for as long as possible.
They kept the illusion alive, stringing along the fans, the media, and even Tom Aspinall himself, all to maintain the hype. But when the truth finally surfaced, Dana White reportedly lost it. And that wasn't the only reason for his anger. Part of Dana's frustration came from Tom Aspinall's brutal honesty, something he's never been great at handling. Tom admitted that if his close friend, Ante, ever rose high enough in the heavyweight rankings to challenge him, he'd willingly vacate his title and let his friend take that opportunity.
It was really bad how it looks. And he said, you can't train your eyeball to be stronger. It is what it is. There's protection here and here, but he obviously got no protection because the fingers were straight in. The fight should have been stopped. He couldn't see. It was a foul. He couldn't see. Then you can't fight. You know, if he'd have got knocked out with a head kick next, then it would have been worse. I don't know. And then he said, sometimes when your eyes here like that, it can become displaced and stay there. And they did a few tests on that, and they said it doesn't seem like that. And his vision on the eye that's the best eye.
And laid there on his back until Jon submitted him. Against the cage, Gane was sat there, not moving, not bucking, not shifting or fighting hands, sitting there like this until Jon locked up the guillotine on him. I'm very aware of what happened in that fight. And do I wish Tom would have finished him earlier? I do, without resistance. That was the ideal circumstance for Tom Aspinall, was to finish Cyril Gane with no resistance in the first round. I think we see an overconfident Gane in the rematch, and I think Tom smokes him, but Tom was raging. So there's an emotional aspect to this rematch now that I'm worried about, because I've been looking for Bully Tom to make an appearance for a very long time, you guys. For a very long time, I've been waiting for Bully Tom to make an appearance. And he made the appearance on, what the fuck you guys booing me for? He genuinely made an appearance in the post-fight speech. The fuck you guys booing me for? I got fucking double eye poked. A double eye poke landed. Insane. Crazy. Horrible result for the main event. Worst case scenario. All things come together. It's weird how MMA works, is it not? Dirtiest fighter on the heavyweight roster, Cyril Gane, constantly cheats every single fight. He's a dirty little French cunt. Jon Jones is the nemesis of Tom Aspinall.
They've done that on the UFC broadcast, by the way, and humiliated Cyril Gane for what he was fucking doing. That doesn't happen by accident. And you can hear Aspinall's team, what the fuck is this? A double poke? I just think Cyril Gane's a dirty fucking cheat. I'm disgusted in that, like. I'm fucking disgusted. Because you can fucking take someone's eyesight for life doing that shit. All because the pressure's getting you and you're feeling the hate. What the fuck are you doing in there then? There should be a fine in the suspension for that level of shit, in my opinion. Because if you're going to fight like that, you're going to fucking blind people. But let's take a look at what Dana White had to say.
Damon and Mike Heck were having a conversation, and I read the transcript, and Mike Heck was very hard on Chael. Now, Mike gets a pass because Mike always backs Chael. So the fact that Mike was saying, hey, Chael, you got this right, it kind of made me listen. I kind of pay a little bit more attention because I know how supportive he has been. And Tom's stock going down. Let's take a look at that. So let me give you some numbers, okay? Numbers don't lie. My partner's DraftKings had Tom at one point, and it was, you'd have to check the chart, it was a spike in the graph, but they had him on fight day a 3.5 to 1 favorite. It did not close at that. But Tom actually went up, became a larger favorite after the face-offs at the weigh-in. Okay. When the fight goes off, he was actually inside of 3 to 1. But let's just call it 3 to 1. When my partners at DraftKings come out with a new line for the fight that is eventually going to take place, it's going to be close. There will be times, I mean, if they were to do it today and money starts coming in, they take action, that Surreal could be the favorite. Try to imagine that. So when we talk about Tom's stock dropping, that's a very tough claim. I mean, on those hands, a guy that was a 3.5 to 1 favorite that is now the underdog, you'd think that his stock dropped. But the anticipation to see Tom versus Surreal was very small, guys. That pay-per-view did not do very good.
Silent. No message, no official statement, no sign of concern. It's becoming clearer than ever that Dana White isn't protecting his fighters anymore. He's protecting himself. Both Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones have pulled back the curtain, revealing how the UFC manipulates narratives, hides key information, and often fails to properly support its own champions. Tom spent more than a year waiting to fight, sidelined by the organization's delays. And when he finally stepped back into the octagon, the aftermath left him humiliated, labeled a quitter by his own boss after suffering a medical emergency. Fans are beginning to see a pattern. It's the same kind of frustration that once drove Francis Ngannou to walk away from Dana White and the UFC entirely, and now many believe Tom Aspinall could be next.
I just walked out of watching this fight. I'm out here on campus. ESPN is right out my window if you find that interesting. All right. I share that with you because I'm mad. I'm mad. But I don't know who I'm mad at. Tom did not do anything wrong. Tom was poked in the eye. As a matter of fact, he was poked in both eyes. Now, I don't believe Surreal did that on purpose. So, I also can't or am not mad at Surreal. But I am mad. I'm looking for somebody to blame. But I don't quite know who to blame. Now, before we get to that, okay, there was a pretty interesting fight going on. The story going into this fight is Tom has the power to just go knock him out. We're not saying Tom's a better kickboxer. We get that Surreal did that for many years of his life. We get that Surreal had over 30 professional kickboxing bouts. But Tom, a little younger, a little bigger, shown to have a little bit better power if you just want to look at results, and has the ability to knock him out. However, if Tom tests that and doesn't knock him out, he'll just take him down and beat him up.
Yeah, I don't really like the notion of that either. It didn't look like he won and then he's getting a title shot. I think people are a little bit sour about that. I just want to fight. I want to be as active as possible. I want to fight as much as frequently as I possibly can. Yeah, I just want to get back to what I do.
Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall have pulled back the curtain on the UFC, exposing a promotion built on favoritism, manipulation, and a shocking lack of respect for its own fighters. Dana White's temper has reached a breaking point, and the world is finally witnessing the cracks forming in his empire.